Flames Nation, it's Printzy here, and I'm back with another summer edition of Shutdown in Flames, Flames Nation free agency season. We're still kicking it off. We're still introducing our new additions, and we've got our last of our signings here. Taranjot Vining, how's it going, man? Welcome to Flames Nation.
I'm good, man. I'm glad to join the team. Excited to get started. Already done a couple of things here and there, and ready to get started. Just preseason's a few weeks away, and I can't wait.
Yeah, man, we're getting close now, man. Like guys are getting antsy online on Twitter. We're starting fights with Oilers Nation because we got nothing else, nothing better to do. You got Noah commenting on everything. Release Blasty, sign Uyghur. Audie's going at it. It's we're getting down to that grind, man. We're getting close. It's gonna come real quick though. That Penticton thing's right around the corner. That'll give us a good idea of some prospects and stuff too. But as I mentioned before, to the Flames Nation fans that are out there, we joked around in the summertime and we've kind of had a little fun saying that free agency in the content world, it's a real thing. And Taranjot, we added him along with Outta and Robert, who we introduced last week to our content team of creators and podcasters and guys that are going to be doing a bit of writing and heading in the new direction of Flames Nation. You were a guy that 100%, like I've been following for a very long time, even before anything, man. I think everybody that's following Flames Nation is probably falling straight out of Calgary too. So I wanted to get, before we kind of dive into some Flame stuff here, I wanted to get your background on when you started straight out of Calgary. What was the idea? I know that like straight out of, like, I don't know if that was like the Straight Outta Compton movie or something that started that trend, but like just feed me, man. Like tell me why'd you start that?
It was in grade 7. Obviously I'm still like, it's my second year in uni, second year right out of high school. So I started in grade 7. I was just out of the blue. Like I was on Instagram, like just started going on Instagram, just being in grade 7. And then I saw like a couple of hockey pages out there, and then there weren't any like Flames ones yet, apart from like the very few, like apart from the Flames page and then Flames Nation as well. And then I'm like, yeah, why not? It was personally it was a personal account at first. Like I just randomly posted Flame stuff, like just pictures here and there. But then it started in the 16-17 season. I just started posting like goals and stuff here and there. And it just started from there. And yeah, the name does come from the movie. The name does come from the movie. Yeah, I kind of got the inspiration from there.
Right.
And yeah, it just took off. I started as something fun in grade 7, and then it turned into a passion, even a career, just a few years later. So it's been fun. It's been fun.
Yeah, I was gonna say that because when that movie came out, it was like tons of people were doing like straight out of blank and like putting it on a shirt or whatever. And I remember seeing the account and being like, damn, that guy's smart for taking that name. So yeah, like I said, I've been following it for a long time. It's I can say that you're probably one of the OGs that actually was creating Flames content and social posts and whatever you want to call it out there for now it's grown to almost everybody's got something out there, but you're definitely known as one of the
I appreciate that. The
original ones, man. The original ones for sure. I wanted to get your thoughts too, and I've asked Outta and Robert this same question too. Now that you're part of the Flames Nation team, we can ask you this kind of stuff. Obviously a lot of people back in the day, they've been following Flames Nation since it started, the blogs and the articles and whatnot. And I followed it too, but it wasn't really anything more than just some blogs and some articles and some good stuff. And Ryan Pike writes some incredible stuff, and he definitely can put your brain in a blender,
especially with the arena stuff.
Oh my god, I know. I don't. Everyone asks me that stuff, and I'm just like, here, like I'm just gonna start giving out Pike's number. Like you can just call him directly because I have no idea. But I wanted to get your thoughts on what just happened one day when Flames Nation was just writing blogs and articles, and then all of a sudden one day they start posting videos like you're doing, and then they start doing podcast stuff, and they start doing questions and stuff like that. Like what were you kind of thinking, what the hell is going on here?
I was like originally, like you touched on it, it's always been a blog base at first, but then I saw that. I'm like, this is gonna be fun, like just following along. And then I saw when you joined in May, earlier than May. I saw the post. I'm like, that's sick. And then everything, like even the stuff you guys did in the playoffs. I know I met you at the Red Lot. It was fun. The Red Lot stuff was cool. And then even just I think the writing stuff has been great since day one. I think I've been a huge fan of that since day one. And then you reached out. I was like, I'm like, what is this gonna be about? And then it was nice. It was nice. I'm like, I immediately saw the message. I'm like, this is definitely something I want to join. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Because when we were at the Red Law party there, Noah and myself, we went down there a couple times and we did a FlamesNation meetup, and we had we had a fair number of people come down and meet us, and you were one of them. And after you, because you were going to the game, so you weren't staying on the Red Law with us. Yeah. And he went into the game, and Noah was like, you should probably reach out and talk to him. Like, I think he could be good on the team. And I was like, no, I'm 10 steps ahead of you there, Phil. I already know that, but we had to get through the end of the season, because that was kind of our goal with FlamesNation, is we wanted to add a couple guys onto the roster that can help us create better content and videos and hype videos and your graphics. And like, you're the perfect person to do that. And every person that we've added, whether that's yourself and Robert and Outta, each of you guys brings a unique skill set that is such value to our team. So I'm super pumped to hear that you were looking for FlamesNation and stuff like that. So I gotta say, I gotta warn you, they're coming with FlamesNation, joining the FlamesNation team. Be prepared, and I think you've seen it already. You being on Flames, social media and Twitter and Instagram, all that stuff, I'm sure you've dealt with Oiler fans, but it is nothing like you've ever seen before. FlamesNation, just get ready for it, man.
Yeah, it's a bit too much. There's just Oilers fans bombarding the comments, like even today.
Just before, well, I did that on purpose, but
just to rile them up.
It's like I said on Instagram, they're probably the easiest fan base to rattle, for sure. Like, if you put it in terms of hockey, they're the guy that you can go up and slash them in the back of the leg just ever so lightly, and they'll turn around and cross check you in the face because they cannot handle it. They love to dish it out, man, but they can't take it, man. They absolutely cannot take it. I mean, I'm looking forward to this offseason being over, because I'm sick and tired of hearing, 4-1, and then what happened, this and that. Like,
and then people dropping the McDavid gif here and there. It's just like,
man. And they do it in like the stupidest things, man.
Like, it's not even a roast.
I know, man. Like, who cares? Like, I retweeted like Cole Schwint visiting the hospital with the little kid, and Oiler fans are in the comments, 4-1, this and that. I'm just like, guys, like,
it's tone it down.
It is, man. So you're gonna be prepared to deal with it, man. I will give you the, as much as the guys from Oilers Nation, their characters and their guys on there, as much as they chirp and they say stupid stuff, and Nation Dan, I'm sure you've seen him many times. Those guys are absolute beauties, though, man. Those guys, they've done it the right way, and they've opened the door for us to follow down that path and try to mirror what they're doing. And we've got tons of cool stuff coming down the pipe for the upcoming season that we're going to share with everybody in due time when it gets revealed. Now, before we dive into some Flames talk too, you and I have one thing in common, more than just being a Flames fan, is I'm a graduate of the SAIT RTBN program, even though I did it a decade before you. Now you're heading into your second year at SAIT. What's your major? Like, what are you doing?
Broadcast news, so like the on-screen type of stuff.
Nice, man. So are you wanting to try to do like calling hockey games, like get into radio? Like, is that what your focus is?
Anything sports, really. Like, I like, even if it's broadcasting games or if it's on the radio, I honestly don't really care. I just want to get my foot in the door and eventually achieve the dream. Like, it's essentially what I want to do. It's essentially what I wanted to do since like grade 7, like I talked about.
That's awesome, man. Awesome. And I did see that you were doing some stuff. I don't know if you're still doing some stuff with Ryan Singh on SportsNet. Are you still doing some stuff with him, or is he?
Yes, I have some stuff in the works here before the season. He's been a mentor of mine. Like,
that's good.
I've met him here and there. And he's a great guy. Like, absolute the best. I've
heard from him because I used to work for the Brooks Bandits in the AJHL, and I think he might be from there.
He's from Brooks.
That's where I've heard of him from too, so I knew of him from before that. I'm definitely gonna pull your strings, and me, you, and him are gonna do a podcast.
I'll definitely get him on.
We're gonna get you on that one too. I gotta ask you too. We're just gonna go all over the map with the Flame stuff here, because the fans that are gonna be watching this visually on YouTube and on our social media stuff, they're gonna see that Taranjot's wearing a Blasty. He's wearing a Blasty jersey. So you got the reverse retro one. Now we've seen some leaks of it's not going to be the reverse retro. That's like fans, like, I think fans have a good idea, but just to clarify, that's not the reverse retro for next year. However, they've made a few modifications. What do you think of the flames on the arms?
I think it looks cool. I think it's grown on me. Like at first I'm like, this is kind of weird.
That was like me too. I was kind of like, what is this gonna look good? Now I've looked at it a couple more times, like, okay, yeah, this is actually
good. I've warmed up to the idea. I think it looks great because I heard that like you know how the reverse retros last time around. I don't know if you got a number, but I've touched like the number. Like it's like it was shit quality. Like it wasn't good at all. Like what we're used to. But this time around they're gonna have the actual like Adidas numbers instead of the reverse retro ones. It's gonna be cool. Yeah,
interesting, man. Like because I was kind of looking at it and there's some integration. We haven't seen it in the leak of the flags. We're thinking that it's going to be on the collar somewhere. And they'll keep the two white C's on the shoulder. Now with the flames and stuff on the arms, I think it's going to look really, really cool on TV. But now you got the guys. I don't know if there's certain ones on the flames that they roll their sleeves up and then kind of makes them look a little bit tougher and that kind of stuff too. So be interesting to see what it looks like. Now we also got the leak that the reverse retro. We didn't get an image of it, but we got the leak that it's sitting behind me. And if you're watching the YouTube video, the pedestal one. So what are you thinking? What are you thinking that and it's rumored to be black, right? Yeah, because they want to go black. What are you thinking? Are you liking that?
I like the idea. Like I wanted to see like a touch on like the retro colors, like the color scheme that the Flames use now.
Yeah.
Because like I love it. I'm not opposed to it, but just like looking at the color scheme and what the Flames are following, it's too much black. Because if you already have the Blasty rolling in, then the pedestal being black, I think that's a bit too much. But it's only a 1 year thing.
Yeah.
So it's not too bad. But I think it's gonna look great. Yeah, I just want to see how they do it. I know Ryan Popowich, Popo. I think they're gonna knock it out of the park. I think I am ready for it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm with you on that one. Black and black. Like to my knowledge, the teams are scheduled to wear their third jerseys a lot more than the reverse retros. They will. Like I think it was. We haven't seen the jersey yet or whatever, but Buffalo announced their third jersey today. Yeah. And I saw their schedule and they're wearing it like 12, I think like upwards of 12 times they're going to wear it next year. So I would expect that the Flames are going to wear Blasty quite a bit. And then they'll have their scheduled reverse retro, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. They're going to have their scheduled times. I'm thinking that's probably going to be under 5 times maybe.
But it was 5 times the year before too. Yeah. I think it's going to be 5. Yeah.
Regardless of what it looks like, it's good to have a different look, man. Like I mean, last year was a little bit different. We had half of the year there was no fans, and then there was quarter fan, whatever it is.
Yeah, it was annoying. Yeah,
you're kind of missing out on that. So it'll be good for the fans to see it. We got some really cool players that are gonna be rocking this jersey this year. So let's get right into it now. July the 12th. Johnny Gaudreau announces he's not coming back. What are you thinking?
I was shocked. Like I saw the tweet from Friedman first, and I'm like, this isn't looking good. And then Saravelli came in. He's like, yeah, it's done. And then I immediately posted the tweets on my story, and it was sad music. And I'm like, yeah, it's game over. Because at that point, if you look at it, everyone was convinced this team should probably rebuild, or this team's not going to be good next year. I think like immediate got the reaction right then and there was this team's not going to be good next season.
Yeah.
So I was the same reaction.
Yeah. I mean, it was kind of like maybe like a tinge of like he said he's going to test free agency, like maybe he'll pull like a Steven Stamkos and like see what's out there. But then and with Brad, man, like he you know, he didn't bend over and like sit there and cry, man. Like we went over and did
like
stuff.
The fan base,
So now my second question about the Johnny Gaudreau stuff is Columbus, man. Because we're all thinking when he says, no, I'm not coming back. You're like, okay, it's Philly, it's New Jersey. You know, maybe there's some other outside. No one in their right mind was thinking Columbus, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I was at the Stampede first things.
Were you on Stampede on free agency? Okay.
Yeah. Like I was at home. Like I didn't go like the entire day. I left at like 12. I was like thinking, oh yeah, Johnny Gaudreau's probably gonna sign like tomorrow or the day after. And then as soon as we get there, it's like an hour after we're even there. Johnny, like I didn't even check my phone. One of my cousins, like he just saw it. I'm like, yeah, it's right there. Then I'm like, what the hell? Because I'm like, I thought he was going home. Everyone thought he was going home. And I'm like that's a pretty shitty move. I like Columbus.
I know, man.
Columbus was in on it. Like I was shocked, and I was pissed at the same time.
Yeah, I was a little angry. Yeah, a little angry at it. I mean, if you're gonna leave, like go somewhere better, man. Like Columbus is not better than Calgary. And the funny thing was I was doing a podcast with the guys that do my other show, Missing Curfew, and we had David Pagnotta from the Fourth Period was on the show, and he actually stopped mid-show and answered a phone call and was like pointing at us like this and was like answering the call. You could just see the shock on his face, and we were like, "What the fuck is going on?" And then all of a sudden, it just announced Johnny Gaudreau to Columbus. So I was actually doing a podcast like mid-podcast when it happened, so I had no idea. Pike's freaking out on his phone. The group chat's going off. My phone's just going off. I'm like, I have no idea. But if you look at the roster today, I'm just like, I'm still like,
it's
like you read his Players Tribune, right?
Yeah.
That stuff's all understandable, right? With his family. Excuse me. Not wanting to be too close to his family. I completely understand that aspect of it, of being close, but not that close. Because if you're in Philly, then you're trying to seat 50 people on night, and everyone's trying to bug you and this and that. But there were different options, man. Way different options. And I even heard this one. I can't remember who it was, but it wasn't Trust Me, Bro. It was somebody decently credible had said that pretty early on there were some talks that before Pittsburgh brought back Malkin, that
I heard
he
that
had
as
been
well,
talking to Berkey about going there.
Yeah, that would have been
oh my god.
With Crosby, oh my god.
Oh my god.
That would have been crazy.
Yeah. So I know
Crosby, Gensel, and then him. Oh my god, that first line.
Yeah. So I thought of that, and I was thinking, I was like, that one actually makes sense, because everybody who was with the Flames loves Berkey, man. Everybody loves Berkey. Yeah. So pivoting from Gaudreau, we had that.
Yeah.
The Oiler fans are already flooding. Johnny's got this, Tkachuk's next.
Yeah.
You know, we're all optimistic, right? We're thinking, okay, we lose Johnny.
Now
we can keep, if we keep Tkachuk, you can name him the captain. Maybe we're saved in this and that. And then boom, it happens again. We're like, oh my God. Like, so that one, you know, you can be mad at Tkachuk, I guess. But with the return that we got, I mean, you could be mad at him right away because he said he's not coming back. They're going to explore options. They're going to figure it out. You're thinking one of two things. They're either going to trade him for a boatload of picks and prospects, and this thing is going down, or what are they going to do? I had no idea what they were going to do. And I'm sure you're like everybody else too, that on that Friday night, you know, it's 8 o'clock. And like,
you're trying to wind it down. Yeah.
And for me and you, like guys that do social media, there's certain points in the night where you're like, okay, nothing's going to happen.
Nothing's happening.
I'm not going to focus on my phone or anything like that. So I was at the bar. I know people, Outta said he was with his buddies drinking, and 9 o'clock rolls around, and then boom, that tweet from Elliot Friedman that says the Flames have traded Matthew Tkachuk to Florida. So what were you, did you see the original tweet before the trade went down? Okay.
I saw the tweet. I was actually like you were doing it during the Gaudreau thing. I was actually recording a podcast.
Were you? When
yeah. So, and then we were trying to wrap the podcast episode down. Like we were on our final moments. And then immediately, like one of our co-hosts, he immediately says, "Oh my God, Matthew Tkachuk to the Panthers." And then everything just went down. Like I was like shaking. Like I was like, "Oh my God!" I was like, "Oh my God!" Like I originally I was like, "Yeah, this isn't gonna be good," because I immediately, like, the first reaction I had was, "Yeah, they're gonna take picks and prospects and probably like wind it down, like rebuild." But then I remembered. This ownership is never going to do a rebuild.
They're
like
not,
that.
Man.
They're not.
No.
It might be a retool, but not a rebuild. And then immediately I'm like, yeah, it's going to be a good trade. And then it came down. Jonathan Huberdeau, Mackenzie Weegar, Cole Schwint, and then the first round pick. And I'm like, yes. I immediately, I'm like, yeah, the Flames win. I'm like, I don't care. I don't care if it's for Tkachuk. I think the Flames win. I was like, I screamed. I saw the video of you after the live when you went live.
I ran. The bar was too loud. It was raining outside, so I had to go outside, and it was pouring, so I had to like there was like a bank nearby with a drive-through, so I had to like seek shelter under a bank and try to go live. And everybody on the Instagram live was just losing their minds, man. Crazy, because I'm the same way, man. I saw that tweet and I thought, okay, like, it kind of clicked in my head that they traded their first for Giroux. So how many firsts do they have? What's their prospect? Like, I'm like, we're just gonna take a bunch of their prospects and try to sign Phil Kessel or somebody, and then boom, that happens, and it's just like, oh my God, immediate, right back into it, man. And I was
elated.
it was
I
just
was
kind of like, it was just like the past couple weeks, like from Gaudreau to Tkachuk leaving on Twitter, whatever it was, 10 days or whatever it was just an awful time on Twitter, man, because you had Oiler fans poking at us, and then Flames fans are starting to turn on each other because they're mad about what's happening. So it wasn't even a fun place to be.
It wasn't.
And then I just remember I tweeted, there was a picture I found online of like Hanifin and Anderson had their heads down on the bench and Sutter's over them like this. And I just remember I tweeted, I'm like, just keep your heads up, guys. Like something's going to happen. And the next day, boom, that happened. So it just went from like 0 to 100. But then, you know, you get all the Oiler fans going, oh, you know, these guys are on UFAs.
Nothing's going to happen.
Stay in Calgary. Then you got all the Montreal fans saying, well, he's going to be at Montreal by the deadline and this and that. So we got Huberdeau done. You know, obviously people are saying, you know, overpay, you know, what, you know, that's the money that you were going to pay Johnny Gaudreau with, right? So it's it was gonna happen regardless. It was either Gaudreau or Huberdeau. You got both of them at the same price. Each of them is better in their own different way, I would say.
They're unique players in their own different way. They have a different style of play as well,
You can sit here and say that Huberdeau's better. You can sit there and say Gaudreau's better. I mean, everyone's got a different style. I think Gaudreau might have maybe a little bit more skill. Now where Huberdeau's got the size, he's got the smarts, and he's a little bit better, maybe a little bit better defensively. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I would call it you're replacing that player, right? So we're sitting here with that. And at the end of the day too, man, like, you know, people freaking out, well, what's he going to be like when he's 35, 36? You know, that's going to suck. I get that
down the road.
I get that. You're exactly right, man. I am the same way of that's down the road, man. Like worry about that down the road. The cap is going to go up. All that stuff, man. Like, and I even saw somebody had put out a comparison that, you know, he might be the type of player that, like, back in the day, guys like, I'm trying to think of guys like, not, this isn't a great comparison, but just age wise, guys like the Sedins, guys like a Ray Whitney back in the day, like a Doug Weight, a Mark Recchi. Those are the kind of guys that were putting up big points in their late 20s, 30s. And then they get to their, you know, 31, 32, 33, 34. They're not putting up 90 points, but they're still putting up 55 points, and they're still putting up 60 points in a season, right? At age 35, 30. So that might be what he is, man. So you don't know, man. But to get him signed, I know that we don't have Uyghur signed. We don't have Uyghur signed, but all signs are pointing to it. Like Pat Steinberg's telling you to take it to the bank that they're going to re-sign him, man. You know, all signs point to that we're going to re-sign him. If you sign one of them, you've already won the trade. So we have won pretty much, in my opinion. And you sign the more offensive guy, right? So we move on from that. We're thinking, okay, we're good here. We're done here. Like, we're good. Like, you know, we've got the lineup set. And then it was, I don't even know how long ago it was.
2.5 weeks later, I think it was.
So I whatever it was, 2 weeks ago, whatever it was, I'm headed up to Edmonton for the Oilers Nation golf tournament. They have an ON Open. And it was an awesome time, really well put together, super fun. It was a little short notice before, you know, we had to sign up guys before I headed up there. So next year when I go up there, I'm not going up there alone. I'm bringing the crew because I need help. But I live in Airdrie, so I'm gassing up and I quickly check at my phone, and I see the girl, whether she does stuff from Sportsnet or whatever she does, Shayna, the lady, the girl with the blue hair. She tweets out, Nazem Kadri is going to sign with someone today. And she's a credible source. So I'm in my head, I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, it's gonna be Calgary. And I'm like, I'm driving up to Edmonton. Like, do I sit here and wait? I'm like, no, if I sit here and wait, nothing happens. I look like an idiot and I miss my time and this and that. Sure enough, I'm just outside of Red Deer and I get the text from Pike. It's happening. I'm like, oh my God. So I had to like pull over. I had to pull over in Red Deer. I had to get to Bauer Mall and pull over there and start going like that. So what were you thinking? Nazem Kadri, like, what do you think of that?
I was just sitting there. I'm like, nothing's gonna happen. It was obviously after we announced it. I'm like, I'm just on my phone. I'm like, I'm just like ready to post like some post I wanted to put out that day.
Right.
And then Kadri signs, and I'm like, I didn't believe it at first because I'm like, everyone said he was going to the
Islanders.
Like I was convinced. I'm like, it's probably gonna be the Islanders, and then I'm like. And then it just randomly down the hatchet, like Nazem Kadri to Calgary. I'm like, yes. Like, but then, oh my God. I was happy. And then I'm like, it's a perfect fit. Like, if you look at the center depth down the middle, it's fucking amazing.
It
like,
is,
Backlund as your 3C. It's like,
I know. And I had tons of people that we even before we got Kadri, you're a social media, you're a social media guy too. You know what it's like. We put out stuff. What's the Flames top six gonna look like? And we put Backlund in there in the top six, and people love Backlund. No one ever hates on him.
No one ever hates on him.
But I had tons of people in the comments saying he's not a second line center. Like he can fill that role, but he's not ideal. So now it's an ideal situation, right?
Yeah,
it's 100%. A perfect ideal situation. Now with bringing on Kadri, didn't fit under the cap. So you knew a casualty had to go, and we knew it was one of two people. It was either Monahan or Lucic. And then we had tons of people, like I think Kevin Weeks had put it out there that Philly was involved. And then, the Predators were smart enough that they were going to announce their draft location next year. So they put up the eyeballs. So everybody's thinking, oh my God, it's Nashville, this and that. And then Montreal shows up. So what are your thoughts? Sean Monahan, man, we grew up watching him, man. Like, it's tough to see him go. But it's a necessary move for the team. We've had people clamoring for blow up the core, man. Like we haven't done anything, and they finally do it. So what do you think?
And they did it, yeah. I've been a Monahan fan. Like you can see behind me, I have my signed Monahan jersey right behind me.
Yeah.
He's been one of my favorite players. Like since 2013. Like I was a little kid, so yeah. I was mad that Agima left, and then the bright spot was Sean Monahan. Yeah. Obviously after that, and then just continuous from there. I think he's been a bright spot on this team. Obviously, over the last few years, the injuries have taken a toll on him. He hasn't been like the same. He's been a shell of his former self.
Yep.
And then you can't blame the guy. He's been through so much injury-wise and just everything. Like I have nothing but respect for the guy. Everything he did for the city, everything he did for the team. I think that's a guy right there that epitomizes what it takes to be a Calgary Flame in this city. And he meant a lot to this team, and you could even see Brad Treliving after he did the press conference with he had everything to say about Monahan, and I just think it's a casualty that had to happen. But looking back, it just stings. But
I agree.
Yeah. I'm happy for the guy. I think he gets a new start in Montreal, and I'm curious to see how he's gonna do. I think
so am I, man. So am I, because a lot of people are saying it's very tough to come back from the injuries that he sustained and the surgeries and all that kind of stuff. And then there's the aspect of confidence too, right? Like a lot of people are saying his confidence was shot. I mean, you don't know that. You can only see that from the outside, depending on where he goes in the Montreal lineup, if he's healthy. Do I wish that Johnny Gaudreau gets 100 points with Columbus? No, I don't.
Hell no.
Do I want Tkachuk to have success? Yeah, I mean, if Tkachuk's successful, cool. But if he doesn't, I'm not, I want Sean Monahan to have success in Montreal. 100%. I really do, man. Whether he's a fit there, if he bounces back and has a good year in Montreal, you never know, man. Like you never know what could happen with Sean Monahan, whether he wants to go somewhere else.
Yeah, or wants to come back.
Well, that's gonna say maybe he has an okay season, but showed signs of this and that. And maybe you can fit him under the cap, right? You never know, man. You don't know, but it's also too though, man. Like you up the middle, like we got 4 of them rolling already up the middle. Like unless he converts into a winger, man. Like what's gonna happen with that, man?
Yeah.
So it's good, man. Like it's crazy to think that it's been such a whirlwind off season. And to be doing this for Flames Nation, there's been no break, man. Like,
there has been,
like I've not
especially
had
for you.
I haven't had a week to chill, man. Like they do the Gaudreau thing in the evening, and then he signs in the afternoon with Columbus, and then they announce the Tkachuk thing, and the trade happens in the evening, and then Mangiapane gets announced in the evening. Like, give me a break. Like you guys sign somebody at 8 a.m. when the work day starts,
early,
man. Like let me Kadri was in the morning, man, but of course it lands on a day when I'm driving up there. It's crazy to think, man. Like Mackenzie Weegar, Jonathan Huberdeau, Nazem Kadri. I mean, everybody shits on Kevin Rooney. Like, what did Kevin Rooney do to you, man? Like, leave him alone. Like Plays were so mad when we signed him.
Yeah, I was confused. Like, even like when all those signings dropped on day one, I'm like, why are people freaking out? Like, these aren't the only moves the team is gonna do. Like, it's just like depth signings. And everyone's like, oh, Kevin Rooney, look, he's the replacement for Johnny Gaudreau. Like, and I'm just like, how? Like, use your brain for a bit.
They had to do it in my theory is they had to do it in the reverse order. So when you got money to spend and you've got you're not worried about your top stars leaving, you've got money to spend. On day 1 and 2 of free agency, you go out and you acquire the guys that you're looking for, the Blake Coleman, the Markstrom and the Tanev, those kind of guys. And then as the summer goes along, you fill out your roster with your depth players, your AHL guys, you know, like last year, whatever it was, they found a Gabranson in like September, that kind of stuff. The Flames had to deal with that stuff. So they had to do everything in reverse, right? So they had to start getting the depth players and the prospect guys. And like, so I feel so bad for Kevin Rooney for just getting shit on by the Flames fans. Like, just leave the guy alone. Like I understand that the numbers aren't quite there, and you know 1.3 whatever he's making as a fourth line center. Okay, I just want to see what he's all about before you jump on the guy. I looked him up too, and he's dropped the mitts a couple of times last year too. So there's definitely, you lost Gabranson, you still have Lucic. Like, no, I'm not saying that it's 2004 and you need 5 mutants on your team and this is like that, but you still need a guy that's gonna go out there and do that kind of stuff. So Flames fans, relax. Let the guy play.
Like,
embrace him. Like, it's. I think people are over it right now. So I'm a little excited to see what he can do.
I'm ready. Yeah.
So,
and even just that, I think the moves that Brad made, like just like the depth signings, like some of the defensemen that he got, like Nicholas Milosh, I think some of those signings were great, just like depth wise, like organizational depth. I think it's something you need, especially with a team like the Flames, where they're at. Like, even just if you look at the organizational like depth, the defenseman wise, it's not looking great, like on the side. But like right now, obviously after the trade and just like some of the guys, I think it's rounded out very well. And just even that, I think people react way too quickly, and it's a normal thing.
Flames Twitter reacts too quickly. You don't say, man. You don't say. Actually, I was gonna say Milosh is the guy that Markstrom speared last year. You might even found that video where he speared him. So, speaking of like the Flames defense and having 10 defensemen on one-way deals right now, lots of guys out there saying the Flames are not done yet. So if you look at the roster right now, it's filled out pretty good. Like the forward depth and the D depth is filled out pretty good. The one question mark on there is a lot of people have Pelche put in there right now. On FlamesNation Live 2 weeks ago, Pat was pretty good to say, I'm not rushing him in that lineup. Man. I'm not. Like, if you have to, okay, but I wouldn't bank on it. You can find somebody out there for cheap to fill that role. So are you thinking the Flames right now are looking at some of those guys? Like Phil Kessel's off the board. Sam Steele is off the board right now. It's starting to dwindle down a little bit. Are you thinking that they're targeting Rodriguez, Milano, or do you think that they're orchestrating something a little bit bigger?
I'm kind of mixed. I think they do have something up their sleeve, move wise, because I think the Uyghur signing, because obviously that's going to happen. But I think they're going to have to move a body here eventually.
A D-man too.
A D-man, I think like just even starting out, I think Valimaki's a lone man out. I think just everything that's been going on for the past few seasons, I think it just hasn't worked out with him. So I think if a move were to occur, I think he'd definitely be involved. I think it'd just be, I don't want to say this, but I think I do truly think if Valimaki's not involved, I think with the way the the top 6 in the defensive core is looking, I think Flames fans are going to butcher me for this, but I think Noah Hanifin might be expendable here a bit.
I agree with you, man. I really do. So. And we'll get butchered together then. I agree with it, man. I think the addition of Mackenzie Uyghur has made Noah Hanifin a little bit more expendable. Like that's, you know, and it's tougher, man. He's not on the higher end elite level like Gaudreau and Tkachuk, but he's still an American, right? And I think they're a little weary of that stuff. I don't think it plays a huge factor in it now. Like Brad even shot those things down, but you're right, man. Like there might be something there to move on from him, because you've got Uyghur, who's a very similar defenseman, probably a better defenseman. You know, you've got all these, you know, Lucic guys throwing it out there that Boston's looking at. And Hanifin's a Boston guy.
Hanifin's a Boston guy.
Kind of package that's going there. I think that if they were gonna get Rodriguez and Milano, or either or, sorry, not both of them.
Either or,
it would have been done already. Like what's the wait? Because they're not, those are $1.5 to $2 million guys. Like they're not,
essentially
you don't need to clear cap for them. I think signing Mackenzie Uyghur long term doesn't affect those guys.
It doesn't.
is there something going on there? Like, you don't know. I don't know, man.
I don't know. Like, I'm kind of like on the fence a little. I think like, even from like, I think Elliot dropped out our 32 Thoughts article to just end the thing off. Then he just went on break. I think he dropped the Sonny Milano thing that Edmonton is interested in him, and so is Calgary. But I think it would have already happened. Like, even after the Kadri thing, I think it already would have happened. I think
get it done.
It would have already been done.
So and that's what we've heard, being Flames fans for so long. You know this, that you hear this every summer and every year. Tree Living is in on everything. Man. He's calling on everyone right now. The Hannafin one to me is very interesting. The Lucic one, just based on cap and stuff like that. It's tough for me because, like, I understand that he's an expensive fourth line player. I get it. I understand his contract is not good. I like him. Like, I like him as a player, man.
He's such
like,
a likable player.
I know,
like,
man.
just everything he does.
So I'm not, if it's opening night and they've signed just a depth guy, Rodriguez or Milano, and Lucic is still on the roster, I'm not choked about it, man. I'm really not, man. And, like, at the end of the day too, if the season progresses and it's going along and you're going to the trade deadline, and even if you're in a position to still, contend for the division title or make the playoffs or whatever, and you find that Lucic isn't playing as much or he's not fighting as much, maybe there's a need for him. The Boston Bruins are like, we're in a position right now. We need that guy in our locker room. We'll give you a pick for him. If you eat a little bit of salary, we'll give you a pick, and then you just offload him right there. So, and maybe that, you want to be able to put yourself into a position at the trade deadline to be able to make moves and stuff like that too. So who knows, man? Like, it's we can sit here and debate all we want, and then all of a sudden Huberdeau and Uyghur show up, and nobody was expecting that at all.
Exactly. It's gonna be fun.
The one thing that we do know is they're not done. They're gonna do somebody, whether that's offloading Lucic, whether that's a bigger move, whether that's adding someone. Like Pat said, I would like to see Pelche make the Flames and play, but at the same time,
I'd love it.
I don't think I'll be too upset if he's not on the opening night roster. And Pat made a very good point of, he was a point per game player in the AHL last year. He needs to show that he can do that again. But at the same time, he's right in your backyard. Like, you have a better vantage point of
view of him.
View of him. He's going to be around the facilities and the team, that kind of stuff. It's an easy call up if it needs to happen. And at the end of the day too, injuries happen in this league. Injuries happen.
100%.
Like, you've seen a lot of guys reap the benefits of being called up because of an injury. So.
And the Flames were one of the luckiest teams last year in terms of injuries. So you never know if the injury bug could get them this season. So
I know,
even if that were to happen, I think, like, Pelletier not playing in the NHL, it's not bad.
No,
like, he's around the team every single day. I think the Wranglers, like the AHL franchise moving to Calgary, it's huge because for the prospects and some of the young guys that aren't really around they're obviously, they have their teammates, some of the veteran guys that are in the AHL, but being around the guys that are in the big leagues, I think it's huge because you're going to see them every day.
100%, man. That was a huge move for the team production wise. For the city of Calgary too, it's going to be really cool. The Saddle Dome's going to be packed, that's for sure. Definitely looking forward to seeing what their uniforms look like, all that kind of fun stuff, man. It creates more
jobs. The logo looked great.
The logo looked really good. And Pike, I don't remember what podcast it was, but he did a really good breakdown of the actual logo. And there's there's elements of the old Wranglers, there's elements of the Atlanta Flames in there. There's tons of really cool stuff in there. The jerseys, I know that they're out there because I listened to Mitch Love on Flames Talk a couple weeks ago. He said he's seen them. So they're out there. They just haven't leaked yet. So I'll definitely be catching some Wranglers games. We'll be
100%.
So, it'll be fun. We'll do something fun with that. So we covered everything from Flames, man. Going forward, we're going to be doing some cool podcasting. Some rotating guests. We've got a bullpen of wicked guys we're going to be doing on the show. Since it's the off season, there's not a whole lot going on right now. Knowing our luck with podcasts, we won't talk about something and then something will happen, or we'll talk about, like, it was me and Robert from Ring of Fire. We were talking about signing Phil Kessel, and sure enough, he signs with Vegas.
He's
right
gone.
After our podcast drops. I can't even do that. But I know you're a football fan too in the city of Calgary. Fun. Not only not a football fan, but you're like a Calgary sports fan too. Labor Day's coming up. That's always one of my favorite games.
It's one of the
Calgary Stampeders and the Edmonton Elks. Now you're rocking a black blasty. The Stamps dropped, in my opinion,
it was amazing.
Some wicked third jerseys. Like, their third jersey looks wicked. What'd you think of that?
I loved it. I loved like the CGY word mark on the shoulders and just like the color, like the red and white, just the stripes just pop on that jersey.
They do, man, and that's like I kind of want, with the stamps they've integrated a stripe on the top of their helmets now, but the red when they wear the red pants, they got nothing on the side of them. I'd like to see them have a little bit more of that.
Yeah, same here. Just even a white stripe, maybe.
Yeah, like, something white, man.
Something simple. Yeah.
They look kind of a little practicey in the now. We're not shit on them. The black jerseys look incredible.
Yeah.
And what it does is it looks like they just modernized the original black jersey. The outlaw jersey. Yeah, they just kind of modernized it with the white on it and the collar and that kind of stuff.
It looks amazing.
So it looks awesome, man. Like I know that they had to like change the helmets or something a couple of years ago because they weren't allowed to have like the chrome or something on it. They weren't allowed to have it. Yeah, that was kind of weird. So they switched it and now they went red black. So it looks unbelievable, man. Are you going to the game? I'm going to the game. So
I'll definitely try. I want to try to go to the game. I went to like I think I haven't been able to catch a game since last year. I went to the home opener last year. It was fun. So I think
always a good time.
Definitely, it's fun. Like
Labor Day is always the best one, man. Especially like
with
the weather that we're having right now. It's supposed to be like 32 degrees.
It's crazy outside.
It's kind of the only crappy thing is, and it's not crappy because the Stamps need to put together some wins here. Edmonton's just not a competitive team, so that's kind of the
it's kind of sad because like when you think of the Labor Day game, they're always competitive. I think it's going to be a wash this year. I think
they're always competitive. I mean, it's might be kind of the Battle of Alberta thing where it doesn't matter what the standings are at, they're just going to compete regardless. But watching Edmonton this year, I'm just like, oh god. But Calgary needs to put together some wins. They've had some really bad luck against Winnipeg. Like I can't say they went 0-3 against Winnipeg this year. Now I can't say that they got blown out in any of those games.
100%.
Each of those games were really close
and fun to watch. Like
like I heard that game. I didn't get to go. I was out of town. I heard that game in Calgary was one of the best games in years in terms of crowd, atmosphere, game, weather, all tailgating, all aspects of that. It looked unbelievable. So they've had a few slip ups here and there. I think this is the first game they played in Winnipeg. They had a fumble in the end, or it was like an interception in the end zone of last game. The last one last week that I know you and I both watched, that holding call at the end was bullshit.
It was brutal. I didn't like that. Man. The refs have been very inconsistent this year. Like CFL refs, so they're bad. Like some of the roughing the passer calls. There was one against the Stamps a few weeks ago. It was against the Argos. Judge against the Argos. It was just like I don't know. Like some of them just like. Do you not like see this? Like even the commentators are like, this is not.
I was gonna say when the commentators are making comments about it, and it's bad. It was Dustin Nilsson, as he's the commentator for the Winnipeg game. He's an Edmonton guy, and he was like, that's ridiculous, man. Like, those poor Stamps. So they need to string together 2 wins because they're gonna go back to back against Edmonton. If they string together 2 wins, that puts them in a good position. Now the thing about the Stamps though too is with BC lost the quarterback Rourke, so. That's kind of tough for them. The Stamps were kind of primed. They were kind of primed in a position. If they kind of kept what they're doing, win one, lost one, win one, lost one, they were primed for a crossover.
They were.
It would have been Winnipeg's the clear cut number 1. BC with Rourke was rolling, but they weren't going to catch Winnipeg, and then Saskatchewan, whatever they're doing. So if you would have went BC, if you went Winnipeg, BC, Saskatchewan, Calgary actually would have crossed over, and then they would have ended up playing like Montreal or something like that. But now you have a chance to pass. You got a chance to pass Saskatchewan. Now, in talking about wins and stuff like that too. The quarterback controversy. Now, before I put this out there, I am a big Bo Levi Mitchell fan. Everybody knows that. Everyone who knows me knows that I'm a big Bo Levi Mitchell fan. I'm his number 1 fan. Bo, I know you're listening because I know this is like, so I know I'm doing this on purpose. There's a quarterback controversy, and guys want Bo out of there. I'm impartial because like I like Bo. I want to see Bo succeed, and the reason why I want to see Bo succeed is because I don't want him to go somewhere else
and kill us.
I know, man. That's the thing. So like, I don't want to see that, and just me knowing how the CFL works, he will totally, if Bo leaves, he will totally turn into a Henry Burris on us.
He's gonna
leave,
torch,
and then he'll come back and win a championship and beat us.
I think it's inevitable. Like he did the passing yards thing, and who did he pass? Henry Burris.
Yeah. Oh god.
And if he leaves, it's I think like you just touched on it. The Henry Burris thing is gonna happen all over again. 100%.
Yeah, like he's gonna come back and torch us. So now I understand the need to put Mayer in there. Yeah. And a lot of people were saying, oh, they're hating on Bo, they benched him. Mm-hmm. I think it was maybe a combination of both. I think that he needed to sit down for a little bit, but at the end of the day, your quarterback too, Mayer, needed to see the field. He needed to see the field more than Bo needed to see the bench. So they needed to see what they're all about. And they had just gone 0-2 against Winnipeg. They played them twice in the past 4 or 5 weeks or whatever it was, and they didn't get a win. So you got to try to switch it up. Now we watched the game. Both of you and I watched the game.
Yeah.
Last Thursday. I'm not going to say that Mayer lost in the game.
No, definitely not.
I think
he was the bright spot in that game.
Yeah, like he was slinging it. He was able to put together drives. His short passes were good. But it's just the defense just couldn't stop Winnipeg, man.
Like
it's Kolaros or
like the last few games, like if like just before that Winnipeg game, like the defense wasn't an issue at all. The defense wasn't an issue at all. And then just randomly in this game, the defense becomes
And we even had 2 interceptions in the end zone too. Jesus. So anyways, man.
It's been inconsistent this year. Yeah.
We're supporters here, man. I want
I love
to see you succeed. I don't want to see Mayer get pulled off of the field and get you put in there, but I want to see you sling the ball again. I know you will, man. I know you will. Labor Day is going to be awesome, man. Labor Day is the best game of the year. The weather's looking good. The flyover by the snowbirds is the best thing. It's goosebumps when it's live, man. Oh my god, when they fly over your head. Like I'm a big tailgating guy. Like there's actually been Stamps games where I actually didn't make it into the stadium because the tailgating is so much fun. But I'm not missing the snowbirds flyover. That's one of the best things possible. Those jerseys are unbelievable. I cannot.
They look beautiful.
They look so cool. The CGY logo on the hats and stuff. Credit to the Stampeders for that. Awesome stuff, man.
The reveal was amazing too. Like on the horse,
really good job, man. On the horse,
that was amazing. In the fields,
they did such a good job on that stuff. So, anybody that's listening to this right now and thinking, "Why are these guys talking about stamps for 15 minutes?" Man, it's the off season, man. It's Calgary,
there's nothing else.
There's, I'm not going to reveal too much with what's going on with FlamesNation, but we'd like to be able to touch on other things too that are they're in the city. We're going to have a lineup of wicked shows, so you're going to get enough of your Flames talk, tons of Flames talk. But if if you and I or Robert or Outta or Noah, whoever, we want to talk a little Stamps, we want to talk some Stamps, man. If we want to talk a little Cavalry FC, we can talk a little Cavalry FC.
Calgary.
Now I know that you are a fan of the basketball team too. That's coming,
the basketball team's here.
So that's not this year though. It's
next year.
Season. So it'll be 2023, 2024. I think it's the Edmonton Stingers, I believe, is the team up in Edmonton. So we'll have another battle Alberta for that one too. So
it's gonna be sick. They're playing at a WinSport, and then it's gonna be fun because I'm curious to see, because basketball is such a fun sport, and just local sports, like there's the Trojans, there's the UFC Dinos, like there's basketball in all levels in the city. It's improving, like it's going up and up, and I think bringing a basketball team here is gonna, like a pro basketball team of that, even like we haven't had a pro basketball team in years, years on years.
Well, I think the success on it's a completely different sport, but the success of the Cavalry might have opened some doors to realize that this city isn't just a hockey football town, man. Like there's other things that can happen.
Like even the lacrosse team a few years ago. The Roughnecks. They won the NNL championship. I think it was 2019.
I was there for that too, man.
That was amazing. I think sports just growing in the city, it's amazing. Just like on all levels, I think growing this like different sports.
It's a sports town, man.
It's fun.
Town, man.
Yeah, it's fun.
We love Calgary, man, but the winters are tough, man. If you got a sports team to grasp onto, man, then it makes it all worth it, man. It makes it all worthwhile. 100%. So Taranjot, I appreciate you coming on board for the podcast. I appreciate you coming on board with FlamesNation. Flames fans, you're going to see a lot of cool stuff on our social media, and you already have seen a lot of cool stuff. And that's a combination of myself, and that's a combination of Taranjot. Taran's he's going to take on a lot of role with the stuff on social media. Fun. So you produce some wicked hype videos, some questions, some graphics. We're gonna have a lot of fun with it, man. So
I have some on the way. You'll have to wait and watch.
I can't wait. I know how the social media works.
It's gonna be fun. Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Well, excuse me. But before I go, we do have to touch base with one of our sponsors, man. Montana's good sponsor for us. Noah and I we were doing the Montana's Rib Fest down at 130th. The Rib Fest is still on right now. It's on till September the 12th. Montana's is doing all you can eat ribs. It is fantastic. The ribs are absolutely amazing. Great sponsor of the podcast. So now 2 weeks left, man. We're at the end of August, September the 12th. Go on down the Montana's Rib Fest. Get those all you can eat ribs. Thank you to Montana's for a good sponsor. And this has been another episode of Shot Down in Flames.